Before you do any baking, you have to put up your hair. After that, make sure you wash your hands. Now, moving on to the ingredients. The ingredients needed to make a yellow cake are pure vanilla extract, baking powder, salt, 3 eggs, flour, sugar, milk, and you'll need cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, and 2 bowls. Preheat your oven to 375. Get your butter out and let it sit. Next, in a bowl, you need to mix together flour, baking powder, and salt. You need 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. When doing this, use a spoon and put it into the cup. When it's at the very top, take a knife and move the top back and forth. Move it over to the top of the flour and scrape it in. Then pour it into a bowl. Then do that with the next cup. Next, add in 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure that you use teaspoons and not tablespoons, and that it's baking powder and not baking soda. Scoop it and use the edge to scrape off the extra and dump it in. Next, you need a ½ teaspoon of salt. Then let that sit. Now we need to put our butter in a bowl and beat it on medium and gradually add in the sugar 1/4 cup at a time. You can stop it to add in the sugar if you need to. You need to add in 1 3/4 cups. Now we need 3 more. After you get all that mixed together, then add 1 egg in at a time, and there should be 3 eggs. Make sure you're really getting the sides of the bowl too as you're mixing. This is what it should look like after you add in the sugar and the 3 eggs. After that, add in the vanilla. You should have 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Do this over your bowl. This is when you can start to add in your flour mixture. Make sure you're only adding a little bit at a time. Add in a little more. And then add in the rest. Okay, then you need to add in your milk. You should have 1 1/4 cups of milk. And mix that so everything's all blended. Now our batter is all done. Make sure you grease your pan. Get the sides. Now add in your batter evenly throughout. Now we need to put the cake into the oven. Set your timer for 20 minutes. Now moving on to the frosting. You need to have 1 cup of shortening. Then add this into the bowl. Make sure you get all of that out of there. Next, you need to add in your vanilla. Then add in a ½ almond extract. Okay, next you need to add in your powdered sugar, but only half at a time. There's 1, tablespoons of milk. And then add in the rest of your powdered sugar. Here's 1 and 2. And also add in 1 or 2 more tablespoons of milk. There you go. Your frosting is done. Now that the cake is done, get a mitt and pull the cake out and set it on top of the oven. Make sure you shut off your oven. And then now we're going to do the toothpick test. So the toothpick test is when you set your toothpick in the cake and nothing comes out on the toothpick. Okay, so now that the cake is done cooling, you can take your frosting, use a butter knife, and evenly smear it out across the whole cake. Another style of frosting is piping. So if you don't have a piping bag at home, you can grab a Ziploc bag and put your frosting in one corner of the bag. Now start to force it down to one side, squish it down all together to one side. Try to get the air pockets out as much as possible. Maybe put a little hole up in the opposite side so you can get that air out. Take a pair of scissors. The more that you cut off the end of it, then the bigger the piping will be. So I'm just going to do a little cut off the bottom. And then you can start to pipe. Now as you go along, squeeze the back and do an up and down motion. This is what it should start to look like as you go along the sides. And voila! Your